Hello, hello there, my crafty friends. It's Candy here from SweetStamper.com, and I am so excited about tonight's craft along. We'll see how we get on because I've probably made a few little hitches that are going to make it a little more, not challenging, just a little bit time consuming for my people who are crafting along with me in real time. Now, let's see if I've got my camera in range. I took everything to the downstairs office because on Tuesday night, I did my first ever Whatnot show. That was a lot of fun. It is a live auction platform. And I was selling Tuesday, and I will be selling for the next probably at least 6 weeks, maybe 8, some of my retired products. And yeah, it is a super fun platform, a really fun way to do things. But I had to take all of this setup, all my camera stuff downstairs because it didn't make sense to have it all. I'm still a little bit, let's see. I think I need to go here. There we go. It didn't make sense to have it all upstairs when all my retired product was downstairs. Okay, let's see if I'm in a better place, and let me know if you are here with me now. Okay, I think that's a pretty decent view. I've got my alcohol wipes here. That's in case I get inky fingers. Okay, we'll see if anybody is coming. It is Thursday. It is time for Thursday night stamping, which I do every week on Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time. And tonight I'm going to be doing a craft along. So if you took my paper share, you got this package of make and takes for free. So this is my thank you for the people who take my paper shares. And it didn't include this, but I just decided to include that because I ended up using rhinestones on all the projects. Now, these are quick and easy projects. They're easy to produce, easy to reproduce, because that is part of my goal, to give you great layouts that you can use again and again. I think, is that the one I want? Yes. Okay. So I'm going to start with this. And I realized as I was getting ready and I was downloading the tutorials that I neglected to pop the photos into the tutorial. So wah, wah, wah. I will load those in after tonight, but I couldn't do them while I noticed that like 10 minutes before I'm going live because I'm trying to pull them up. And when I'm pulling them up so I can reference them, of course, what do I have? But I have the lists, I have the products, I have all the measurements, but I don't have the ever important photos, which you kind of need to figure out which designer paper you're using. Hey, Linda, I'm glad you're here, even for a few minutes. So my first card here, I'm using the Made with Love Designer Series paper. Personally, I love taking paper that is very much for a specific thing and using it in a different way. I like that kind of challenge personally, creatively. And so that is what I like to do. Let me see if I have that one. Oh yeah. Last week I did this card, using this paper much more in the traditional way it's intended, quote unquote, because it is a Valentine paper. But tonight I'm switching things up and we are going to do a very classic birthday card. Now, I did want to mention everything I put into my shares, and that's the way they come in the envelope. Everything is sorted. Everything in here you can still purchase. However, my stamp set's right in front of me. This die, this is part of the Charming Day bundle. Okay, Carrie, yes, you will catch the replay tomorrow. Okay, Carrie's doing my paper share. And that's the thing, if you can't join me live in real time, you can always, anytime I'm doing a craft along, you can just catch the replay. So I am going to use this. Happy birthday. Yep, that's the one. Okay, back to the dies. This is part of the Charming Day bundle. The stamps have sold out, I believe, and but the dies are still active. And the dies, even if you cannot get the stamps, a couple of the stamps, you know, you're going to stamp and die cut, but this particular set of dies has some really awesome die cuts like this that you can use independently of the stamps. So I think this is a great example of showing how that works. Okay, that's not what I wanted, but maybe we'll just do it. Okay, oh yeah, it is. Okay, anytime, I am a green glue fan, but it's never my first choice of adhesive. I personally am a big fan of Seal. So, however, when you are doing this kind of edge-to-edge designer paper, I do prefer to use the glue. And I'll show you why. It is a little bit easier to maneuver if you have to wiggle your paper. So this is 5.5 by 4 1/4. I'm totally covering my card front. I am using Basic Whisper White Thick cardstock. You could use a colored cardstock. You could make this, you know, blushing, I keep calling it Blushing Bride, bubble bath or something else. Hey, Cynthia, I think you might be new here. Welcome, welcome. And I'm so glad, Corinne, that you have shared my video. I appreciate that ever so much. And Carrie is back home. Carrie actually lives in Wisconsin, but she was down here visiting her daughter. So I got to meet her last weekend, which was super fun. She came to, I met her last week. She came to 2 of my in-person events. I oftentimes do just my monthly card class, and then I do quite a few weekend and single day retreats here in San Antonio. But I added in an extra event because I did a little mini catalog kickoff, and Carrie was able to come to that. So, you know, it's so fun when you meet people online and then you're able to meet them in person. Extra, extra special. Let's see. Papers, and then three different specialty papers that you could do as an add-on if you wanted. And most people did. It's great to get those in your hands. And my paper shares, I always do with a mini catalog. Sometimes I do them in between because sometimes we end up with a lot of new papers from the online exclusives. And my goal with the paper shares is to get you using the new designer papers. I don't want them sitting on your desk. I don't want them sitting in your craft closet. I want you using them. And the best way to do that is to start cutting into them and start using them on projects. So this is a simple, very classic happy birthday. I am using the Lovely Arrangement stamp set. It is absolutely phenomenal. And I used it for my stamp club last month. Card club last month, and so I knew that some of my people would have it. You could add it on if you wanted, or usually with my paper shares, I'm using predominantly greetings and really kind of showcasing your designer series paper. So I'm sometimes in a little bit of a I'm not the most organized person by nature. On top of that, we had a slab leak that sprang up about 2 days ago. So we've had our water turned off, waiting for, well, the plumber came out yesterday to assess it and said, yes, it's definitely in your slab. And I am booked up. So he came out, he was here about 2 hours checking everything. He said, yeah, I'm booked up for the next week, and then I'm going on vacation to Vegas. But I have another guy that I would trust with my life, and he absolutely loves working on slab leaks. So he came today. I'm going to keep messing with this and totally botch it, but we'll see. He came today with his son, and they just did a phenomenal job. They had a couple of other guys in here. Of course, we had to take everything out of our master closet. So this leak sprang up in our master bedroom closet at the transition between the bathroom and the closet. And come to find out, it actually originated underneath there between the bathrooms, between my bathroom sink and the bathtub. So, of course, they had to dig into the drywall and all those good things. And before they could do that, we had to totally empty out everything in the bathroom, everything in the closet. Yeah, it's been a hot mess over here. Thankfully, they were able to get it sorted out today because I was thinking we were going to have to go to Planet Fitness to shower. Because the water's been turned off. Now I'm using, this is the die cut. This is from Charming Days. And this is Fleur de Flamingo and Old Olive ink. And I'm just going to add a little bit. And I'm going to use these sponge daubers. And I'm just adding a little bit of color. I don't want anything too bright. If you don't have sponge daubers, you can use blending brushes. But I will say on something like this that's quite small, you can get a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? Targeted. You can get a targeted area filled a little bit more readily. Now you see, I just want that to be soft, but I want it to go down with all the little rose petals. And then this almost looks like, it almost looks like, let me see if I can bring this down a little bit without messing everything up. Yeah. This almost looks like soft sea foam, but it's just really pale Old Olive. So yeah, my world's been a little upside down the last couple of days, and it's on its way to being made right. At least we have water. We're very grateful to have water. Hey, Tasha. But of course, everything is still upside down because the guy is coming out Monday to start repairing, you know, where they cut holes in the wall and all of those things. And then we can start putting, you know, clothes back in and things like that. And of course, when anything like this happens, you know, there's always a silver lining. And the silver lining in this for us is definitely going through everything before I put it back in the closet, thinking, do I really want this? Do I really need to keep this? And I will say there were some bags and boxes in the top of my closet that I could barely even reach. Well, couldn't reach without a ladder. And I had been thinking, you know, I should probably look into some of those things because, you know, God forbid something happened to me and my kids had to sort through all this. It would be a right mess. And of course, you know, as a senior citizen, you do start thinking about things like that. So probably way too much information for you, but you know, there we are. So, yeah, we have the slab leak is repaired. We'll see how much the homeowner insurance is going to cover. Lord have mercy. Of course, you have the deductible and all that good stuff. And the reality is you pay so much for homeowner insurance through the years, which you have to have it. And then you just hope they're going to really, really cover the expenses, but they never cover as much as you think. That's just the reality. So, like I said, we're thanking God for running water tonight. Now, look at the difference. I put a little bit more ink here, went really pale here, but it's the same colors. I like them both. And then I'm just going to pop this little happy birthday. Super, super simple, not adding ribbon, really keeping it simple. This is, you know, almost a no stamping card. The only stamping I did is on the greeting. And I think I can get that there. I will say the guys that came in and did it, boy, howdy, they were good. And I was thinking these young guys, now the gentleman who was heading it up, it's his business. He's the dad. And, you know, when he came in this morning, he reminded me of a hound on the scent. It was like, okay, I'm going to find this leek. I am looking for it and I'm going to find it. He was really, I mean, he is a man on a mission, obviously has found his gifting. He's been doing this for 30 years. So this is not his first rodeo, as it were, by a long shot, but he was just in the zone. And it was great to see him. He had his son, it looked like he was in his early 20s, and then a couple of other young men, and boy, they were on it. Okay, there is card number 1 done and dusted. Yeah, they're great dies, aren't they, Corinne? Okay, now the next one, I'm gonna do a little bit of cutting with you because this is our next card. Now I'm gonna show you on some of these, some of the paper. So this is part of the, or this is a piece from the, love tags. No. Let's see if I can find it quickly. It is love notes, and it was love something. So this is a great example of what Stampin' Up! Is so good at. So we have this really cute paper that is designed mostly for Valentine's Day, but the B side, which to be honest, I prefer on most of these, is very just beautiful colors that you could be used for any time of year. Now, this is one of the pieces. Let me show you. Here we go. This is 4.25 by 6. We'll cut that panel, and that will completely cover a card front. However, I wanted to trim it down a little bit and add some layers to give it a little bit more interest because I want this to be my focal point, not the background. So I just wanted to kind of show you the way that I do that for maximum results. Okay, so here is my paper trimmer, and I need this to be, what is this? I think it's 3.5. There we go. Yep, it's 3.5. So I need this to be 3.5, and currently it is 4.25. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 1/4 inch. I'm going to actually take 3/8 off this side. Now I'm talking while I'm and talking and math don't work for me, so we'll see how I get on. And then 3/8 from this side. Okay, let's see. And then I need to trim the top down so that it's going to fit into my little layer. So let's see. Oh yeah, okay. So pretty easy peasy. Now the top, do I remember, and I guess I could look at the PDF right in front of me. 4 3/4. Okay, so for this one, if you look and see here, hey Jolene, I'm glad you're joining me from probably snowy Minnesota is my guess. I didn't want this to be up quite so high because I wanted to bring a little contrasting piece of designer paper in. So I'm actually going to trim off a 1/4 inch from the bottom. Now this is 6 inches in height, and then I want to bring it down to 4 3/4. So let's take the 1/4 inch off here. Like so. And then, oh, I guess I need to get up in the camera so you can see me. 4 3/4 is what we said. Okay, so let's do 4.5. Let's bring it down here. 4 3/4 down here. Oh, that wouldn't have been good at all. I would have shaved off all of my focal point, which would not have been good. Okay, there we go. So just to show you, when you want to trim down a piece that has that design, you just have to trim down evenly on each side so that your piece of designer paper is the way you want it without compromising the design. Now, oh, my Make and Take packet. Oh, here we go. It's right in front of me. Okay, so the other thing I try to do when I do these kinds of things is to give you a lot of different colors. So I don't want everything to be the same. I want to give you experience with different colors. You may or may not have used some of these. So that is the method in my madness. Now I'm going to grab my little punch here because it is a good sheet. Let's see if I can flag with that. Okay. So now I am going to layer these up. Let me grab some seal. I have some right here. For me, seal is just quicker and easier than the glue. It's just, I think probably because when I started stamping, we had the old snail. And I was an avid user of snail. I will say this seal that we have now is much stronger. Snail sometimes would come off if you didn't use a lot of it. And also, you know, you do have to burnish your, whenever you're using a dry adhesive, you really do need to burnish it and you can do that with a bone folder. You can use your hands, but a bone folder really, I think, is probably one of the best ways to do that. Now, speaking of best ways, here we go. I am going to pull all of these guys off. And when you've got a bunch of them to do like this, you take your pick tool with the little pointy end. It's great for knocking those out quickly and easily. There's the top of my card. And I'm going to pop that on like so, and that gives just that nice little shadow behind there. And I have my little, whoops, see, that's not the right one. Here we go. This little piece of contrasting paper. And that's just a great way to show how you can use your paper instead of adding like ribbons and things. Our designer paper, you can just use so much of it. I love the fact that it coordinates, all the patterns coordinate with one another so that it really makes it for a cohesive look, which I am a big fan of. Okay, now I need my stamp over here. I love this Sending Smiles, kind of appropriate for any time of the year. Sending Smiles is a great, really excellent greeting. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm using, oh, I'm getting out of the can. I'm working too far down. I'm using Calypso Coral, but I'm actually going to stamp it with Garden Green. And so that kind of ties in with my Garden Green layers and artwork. It also keeps it softer. If you stamp it in black, I don't have any other black here. And to me, it's just a little bit jarring. So this is my way of keeping it cohesive. Like I said, I like that cohesive look. So Sending Smiles. I'm looking to see if any of my other paper share people are going to join me tonight. I know I had already talked to some people and said they were going to be catching the replay. It's a little bit too high, so let's try again. I love the fact that we have two sides to our designer series paper. And I think actually that punch is not going to work to flag this because this is actually, I think it's a 5/8 inch width. Because of the G and the L, you need a little bit more than a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to cheat. This is a retired punch, one of my all-time favorite punches, Tailored Tag. And this is what I use all the time. On my projects, this is what I use. And it's just quicker and easier than flagging them by hand. Now, like I said, now that we have this new 3-banner punch, you can feed your cardstock in there. Unfortunately, this is too wide, so it won't work. But any of your 1/2 inch strips work perfectly. Okay, so now we're going to pop this on here. We are going to add some dimensionals, even though we have dimensionals on the back, so you can see how that lifts it and really gives that extra little bit of oomph. And I'm going to use 3 because this is a fairly long banner. And we'll just cover up my less than perfect greeting there. And go here. So make sure that you are on my email list so that you get notification of when I'm going to be going live, reminders about my events, registration for my events, tips and tricks. I always give some PDF tutorials for free. I gave 10 this month. So make sure you are on that email list. And if you go to sweetstamper.com, that is my blog, and you will readily find the sign up for my email. In fact, I think that when you go to sweetstamper.com, it's going to bring a little banner up and it's going to say, would you like to join Sweet Stamper News? And you just say yes and provide your email. And that is a great thing. So super simple. Love, love, love these colors. Quick, easy. And all I did was use the paper because I just stamped a greeting and I used the gorgeous paper to go with it. Okay, now we are going to move on to, and I'm just kind of showing you a little bit of the papers as I go, not doing a full on like paper reveal, because that would take, I'd be here for 2 hours. This is the Easter Joy paper. This is some of the designs, not all of them. It is gorgeous paper. I love it. The back sides are very quiet. Now, some people have struggled with this a little bit because it's very thick. It's much thicker than most of our papers. I think it's because this is very heavily saturated and it's got like a sheen to the paper itself. And then of course you've got this foiling. So it is extra, extra thick. What that means is, and again, I'm going to take this Easter Joy paper and I'm going to make something that doesn't look anything like Easter. So let me show you where we're going. This is where we're going. I'm using cloud cover and I'm using the back of this piece that actually has like little panel designs and then this one here. So totally, totally different. Love these colors. Shy Shamrock is one of our colors that will be retiring in May. And I have to tell you, I really love it for spring. I've been using it a lot. And sometimes I feel like I fall in love with some of the colors as they're leaving, which is kind of unfortunate. Now, let me show you something. These are just 2-inch pieces. And I am going to place them so that there is a little gap. You can just join the gap if you prefer. I'm going to leave a little gap so that there's just a little bit of cloud cover coming through. Now, depending on, do I want cloud cover here or do I want the higher contrast, which typically I want the higher contrast. So I'm going to put that one there. And again, I want to use my liquid glue because this is the Easter Joy designer paper. It has all of this, I mean, a lot of sheen and shine. And your seal will not even, you can't even get it to stick to, oh, I want to go this way, to the paper before you even put it down. So just save yourself the frustration and use your liquid glue. And then when you do, typically you would just lift your hand. With this, you really need to hold it for a couple of seconds and let the, sorry, my computer kind of went on me. Let the glue really begin to adhere so that when you lift your hand, it's not going to, you know, start to lift, because people are complaining, well, it curls. Well, it curls, see what it does here right there. It curls if it's not stuck down. Once it's stuck down, it curls great, or it lays flat great. Okay, I need to be, hey Marlene, I'm glad you like what you see and I'm glad you're gonna catch the replay. That works well for a lot of people. Some of us are evening stampers and some of us have other stuff going in the evening. I will say I made a nice dinner for my husband tonight. I felt like I hadn't really, we've been kind of eating, I don't know, this and that and leftovers and the house all upside down with this water leak. So I'd already planned what I was doing and it just happened that they were actually done. So it was a little bit of a celebratory meal. So they had pot roasts on sale at my grocery store this week. heck, $4.99 a pound. They were cheaper than ground beef. So I made an Italian pot roast with carrots and mushrooms and served it with pasta and some fresh spinach that had been cooked. Yeah, we had a nice dinner tonight. Okay, let me grab the next stamp we're going to do Hello Friend. A nice springy look. Hello Friend. And we are going to stamp in black this time. Now, let me show you another thing that I really love. This is also, I believe this is from Lovely Arrangements. I believe it's from the same as the stamp set. I really love this paper. This is from the Textured Metallics. And the gold and the silver are very straightforward. This piece is called Tungsten, and it has a definite purplish tinge to it. And depending on what you put it with, it can really bring a really kind of an unexpected color and a really nice color. So that is what I'm using for this. The other thing is I find that sometimes people buy the Textured Metallics, is what it's called. It's an annual catalog product. They'll buy that and then they use all the gold and the silver and they don't use the tungsten. I'm like, well, I've heard people say, well, I don't even know what to put it with. Well, I am increasingly finding things to put it with. So let me empower you, inspire you to use that. I know at some point last year, my stamp club, I call it the stamp club, it's Card Club. Candy's Card Club is my monthly subscription. And we make 8 cards and 8 different cards. And I always include like some paper, sometimes it has blending brushes or it has dots or ribbon or whatever. Anyway, one particular month I was using a lot of this and decided to include it in my club packet because I wanted people to have enough to play with. Yeah, okay, I was going to give them like some die cuts like this, but I wanted them to have enough to work with when their club packets were complete. So I want to encourage you. You can read all about it on my blog. But if you are not yet a member of Candy's Card Club, I strongly urge you to consider it. It is a great opportunity to not only get a deluxe craft packet in your mailbox each month with designs that are intended to give you like great layouts that you can use again and again, but you also end up doing a bit of shopping that maybe you wouldn't have. So one of the things I love to do is look for things that we're going to use on the cards and then have leftovers for my club members to use and enjoy. And maybe things that they wouldn't have thought of, or maybe things that they would. So that is part of the method and the madness when I'm building my kits for Candy's Card Club. So I invite you to consider that. Although it is a subscription club, so, you know, it's just run through PayPal. You can use your credit card, your debit card, however you want to pay for it. But you can unsubscribe at any time. But if you are a member, you do get a better price, and you also get a really nice loyalty gift after 6 months. So, you know, it's really the better way to go. So I'm loving this color combo of Cloud Cover and Shy Shamrock, and I hope you like it too. Now, somewhere over here, here are my rhinestones, and you can see why. I figured most people probably had rhinestones, but in case they didn't, I went ahead and included a couple of rows of rhinestones in the Make and Take packet. Always being mindful that, you know, sometimes people don't have what I assume they will. So let's just make sure that they can complete the packets the way that I designed. Now, the other thing is, because this was done with an all greeting stamp set, I switched the papers. I like them both. You can just substitute with the you can substitute with greetings that you already have. So like I said, typically with my paper shares, the projects are going to be done with greetings so that we can really focus on the designer series paper. Okay, next up is this super cute, is that right? Yes. There it is. Here's my card. No, that's not right. That's another one. Okay, let me grab that one. It is this card here. And this is using the Beach Boardwalk Designer Series paper. It's just absolutely lovely. Aren't the colors fabulous? So just to kind of help you see how cute these are. Really fresh colors. So many fun things you can do. So this is a really cool fun fold, because what you do is you just take a half piece of cardstock that is scored, and then you cut that piece off, and then I'm going to use that piece right here. So you don't waste anything. Now, the other thing I'm doing on this card is I am using this for the inside, because this you can write on this very easily. There's actually a couple of pieces in this designer series paper like this that are kind of a watercolory, marbly design, and they're perfect for the inside of your cards. You know, I am a designer series paper fan to the utmost. But I don't want to be a hog with my paper. I want to use my paper. I don't want it to sit in the closet. I don't want it to sit on my shelf. I want to use it. And what a pretty way. Look at that. I can easily write a note to whomever I'm wanting to send this to. Oh, I did not cut that piece. So I will need, thankfully my trimmer is right here, and my this is the piece I'm going to use, and let's see what my PDF says I need. Springy Friend, I've done. Palm tree, thanks. Okay, so this is 4 by 2 3/4. Yay for having the tutorial handy. Now look, you see how there's graduated colors on there, and I'm going to use a little bit more of the dark this time, and not as much of the light. So, you know, you can just make those little tiny variations in your projects. And, oh, actually, I can just go right there. And it's what, 2 3/4 by 4. I'm going to do that. You know, sometimes it just does not want to go for me. Okay, let's go to 2 3/4 like so. And I'm going for this darker bit here. Okay, there we go. 2 3/4, and then I need 4, right? Like so. 2 3/4 by 4. There we go. And that is going to be the little top tab, as it were, of my card. Now, you can see how that has a little bit darker than what I had here. And I'm going to put the darkest part at the top. That is not the right, that needs to be 2.5. Either my tutorial's wrong, which I will double check. Now, when you get tutorials from me, I have the ability to go in there and make a little change and not have to resend it to you. So, oh, yeah, it's 2.5. So just so that you're aware, once I send it out, I can go in there and I can add photos, I can add a video, I can, you know, make some edits, and I really appreciate that capacity to my system for my tutorials. Okay, now you see, even that would be super cute, but not if I'm using the palm trees. So, okay, focus, Candy. So I thought these palm trees were just so pretty, and actually, this is a perfect card to send my sister-in-law. She is my sister-in-law, my husband's only sister, and she lives in Vero Beach, Florida. and she's always doing nice things for us. And she is like a Florida, like Florida all the way. Her home is decorated like it's all Florida. And she loves living in Florida. She loves Florida decor. She loves everything about Florida. So this, she loves palm trees. This will make a perfect thank you card for her. And like I said, I'm always needing a thank you card for her. Now, I did cut that ahead. Where did I put it? Here it is. So the other little thing, if you got the specialty papers, these are the 3 colors. It is Pool Party and Lemon Lolly and Pretty in Pink. And these are shimmery. They're so pretty. So I put just a little piece of that right here. Now I did cut it ahead of time. If I can, is it laying down? Aha, fell down in my basket. And that just gives a little bit of shine there. Just a wee bit. I like it. So, let's see. Sometimes these shimmery, there it is, papers are a little resistant as well, but no, this is taking my seal just fine. Now I'm going to bring this down just a little bit, and then I'm going to actually put this top piece, I'm just going to lay it flat, right like that. And I'm going to put plenty of seal up here so that my flap really, really stays. And then I'm just going to add my greeting. And isn't it lovely? I think this is such pretty, pretty colors. Love them. And this is my little sign design greeting label. This came out in our mini catalog. In the holiday mini catalog, it is still very much active. It did not even go into like last chance or anything. Thank you. And that is, the stamps are somewhere. Aha. So like I said, because we're doing all of our, because we had the water leak, and I'm reorganizing my closet as a result of that, and I'm selling some stuff on my Whatnot. I'm just kind of in reorganization mode. So I'm reorganizing some stuff in my crafting space, and I'm really kind of on a roll with it. It's not something that comes easily or naturally to me at all, but once I get going, I don't stop. Well, I have to stop one day, but this is like probably a 2-week project. So there we go. And that's perfect when you have a greeting and you have like too much space in the label. Just stamp it twice, and then it fills the space ever so nicely and really kind of gives some oomph to your project. So like I said, these are super simple, quick, easy, really focusing on the designer series paper. I am going to put a couple of dimensionals here, and then I did not include it in my packets, but I do think a wee bit of ribbon is called for. So I'm going to add just a little bit of this new bubble bath ribbon, because once even putting all of these on there, and I did put 5 because it just kind of needs something. It's a little bit, I guess, flat, so it needs something, and even with the sparkle, it still to me needs a little something. So I added a little bit of ribbon, and I'm thinking you might have some ribbon or some twine in your stash. So if you're doing the craft along, that is not in your packet. The rhinestones are, but the ribbon is not. So just grab something that you have. You could use Pool Party. You could use probably linen thread. But I did have some of this from the mini catalog, and this is really nice. This faux linen ribbon. So we have wider faux linen ribbon in all of the newest in colors in our annual catalog. This is called faux linen, and it's super skinny, and it's really delightful. So I don't know, the one in the mini catalog, well, and the one in the annual catalog with the end colors, it's more textured. So it may be faux linen textured. I'm not totally sure. Aha. This is what I need right here. And actually, I think I made a bigger bow in my original. Let's see if that little bow, oh, that's actually pretty cute. So my original, I've got a bigger bow. I'm gonna go with that little tiny bow. And do I have many glue dots handy? Let's just see if I can find them. And we've got 2 more cards to go. So we are in home stretch. We've done 4 cards. I've got 2 more. And I've managed to actually stay pretty much on track. I try to not make my videos longer than an hour. For one thing, I know when I'm watching videos, yeah, my attention span is just not that long. So I think it's, if I don't want to listen to an hour, I don't think you do either. So there we go. I'm going to leave the tails kind of long. There's my original and there's my demonstration. Okay, now we are going to move on to Cute as a Bug. And this is just such stinking cute paper. So let me show you a little bit of paper before we stamp and assemble. So this is the one I'm using this piece tonight. Yeah. Oh, that boardwalk paper, Corinne. Yeah, I hear you. It's really, the colors are just perfect. This has much more muted tones, kind of have like quilts on one side. These are the panels where you can make cards and with, or scrapbook pieces, tags, all kinds of things. The toadstools, this piece I love, the kind of a picnic check. And this piece I really love with the blackberries and that piece. So that's just some of them. It's not all of them, but it's what I was grabbing as I was getting ready for tonight. So again, I'm doing the, well, let's get everything out of here. I'm doing the technique, as it were, of edge to edge designer series paper. I mean, that is so cute right there. I could just flip that, and yeah, it's a little busy. But you could use this side, is awfully cute. But another time. That is for another project. I mean, look at those little guys. I've already, as I've been redesigning or kind of reconfiguring my crafting space, one of the things I'm doing is I'm always looking for, I have a cabinet where I've been putting stuff I'm going to send my grandkids. But the last time I reorganized my space, I didn't have grandkids kind of all over the U.S. So now that everybody's moved out of state and I'm mailing a lot of stuff to grandkids, I've decided that on my cube storage where I have like all the stuff for different classes and different projects I'm working on, I'm creating a like a cubby for grandkid projects. And that way I know where to find them quickly and easily. And, you know, I think if you don't reorganize your space from time to time, it's a bit of a wasted opportunity, because as time moves forward, you know, our crafting changes a little bit. We evolve, we make things different. You know, like I said, my grandkids have moved. They're also getting older. The oldest are the ones in Virginia are 15, 14, and 12. So, you know, what I'm sending them now is different than what I sent them when they first moved to Virginia a couple of years ago, and definitely different than what I used to do for them when they lived here in town. So, yeah, and then my youngest grandchildren live in North Carolina now. They were, 3 of the 4 were born in England. They came back to Texas for about 18 months, and then they moved to North Carolina. Thankfully, everything was good for them during this big winter storm. They didn't lose any power. Thankfully, most of my daughter-in-law's family is nearby, and her parents have a generator, so if, you know, things went south that way, at least they would not have been without power. Super important for anybody, especially because they have very young children. So I'm very grateful for all the help that she has there. And we are going to meet our newest grandbaby in May. So they had a baby in December. They're calling her Evie. Her name is Evangeline Anastasia. Got a big name. And we were actually, she was born in the middle of December. We left December 24th to visit our son who lives in Hong Kong. And as it turned out, be part of his wedding, which none of us, well, we didn't know that was going to happen right when it did, just because of the way things work there with applying for your license with the government and all that good stuff. So it was very much, it was so cool that we got to be there for that. So I think, is that crooked? Is that looking crooked? What do you think? I think it's okay. So Love You is going to go, I hate to cover up anything. Now you see up here, I wanted to not cover up these critters. So I think I have to cover up somebody. So I think I'm going to cover up this guy here, because then I get this little ladybug and this little butterfly and this little critter here and the caterpillar. So I think I'm happy with that. Well, no, there we go. Okay, there we get everybody. I get everybody's face in there. And I'm just going to put one little mini dimensional, if I can lay my hand to it. I think it's behind me. Let's see. Yep. Okay, people, I'm almost at an hour. I got to rush this last card. So I hope that you have enjoyed tonight. This is my craft along. I do have another craft along coming up next month, and super, super fun. For the first time, I am teaming up with 4 of my demonstrator friends, 3 in the US, 1 in Canada. We are all top achieving demonstrators. We actually pair up and do some other things together for our teams. And there is a heart somewhere. It will appear at some point. And we have decided to do a craft along. So we have each designed 1 card from the Woolly Friends and 1 card from Simply Beautiful. So we've got 5 from each bundle, and the craft along for that is actually going to take place over a period of 5 days. So instead of having a marathon session like what I'm doing tonight, it will be over 5 days. So be sure to check out my email. I'm going to try to get a blog post up. I have the photos, so I need to do a little sneak peek so that you can see a little bit about what is coming down the pike. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So that is coming. I think I'm probably going to do a craft along every month this year. So there we go. 2 quick, easy cards celebrating Designer Series paper. And last but not least, we have Granny Apple Green. And I'm going to show you briefly, this is the paper I'm using for Card Club this month. And it's absolutely gorgeous. It is called Nature Walk. And sorry about the arm, I needed a block. It is got really cool, all of the patterns are background papers and background patterns. So, you know, the A side, the B side, they're all background patterns. Very versatile, very useful. Now I wanted to show you, this is what I cut off. So depending on whether you want the darker or the lighter part is where you would cut. Now for this particular piece, now there's that piece and there's that. Where's my other piece? Oh, here it is right in front of me. So what I'm doing on this is 5 1/4 by 4. I could just lay it down, but if I split it, you see how it gives a lot more interest. Just a super simple, and it's the same exact measurement that I always use for, well, that I typically use for my second layer, and that's 5 1/4 by 4. So what you want to do for this is you want to put it in your paper trimmer and get these corners right in that little in the trough. Right there. Yep. That's it. And then snap that in place. And that is going to be my triangles. Now, once again, I am probably going to use my liquid glue because I want to really, really get into all of the corners. And yeah, okay. Now you could use this side and it would be equally nice with these papers, but I wanted the kind of brighter green. This is, all of our greens work really well together for the most part. These are the yellowy greens. Garden green's a little bit of a chameleon. It will go with the cooler greens and the warmer greens. But so here I'm pairing it with Granny Apple Green, which is definitely one of our warmer greens, kind of the brighter version of Old Olive. And once again, I'm going to use Garden Green when I'm stamping. Part of the reason is that's just what I have out. But it also, again, keeps my my stamping on my greeting kind of soft and not jarring. If I use black, it's a little bit like, oh, it's a bit much because nothing on this card is black. In fact, even though the color is quite strong, it's a soft design. Now, let me show you something. I'm going to flag these two pieces here. This piece, this scripty piece, it actually has words. This piece I picked up and used it, even though it was going in the opposite direction. I think it looks fine. So, just don't stress and use your scraps. So I'm going to flag both of these. So that's how it came to you in your packet. And again, this is my paper share free gift. You get 6 projects this time with your paper share. So, oh, you start the blade in the middle. Oh, that's interesting, Corinne. I've never had it mess up on me, so I guess I've just lived dangerously and didn't realize. Okay, so this is, I think it says always here for you. What an awesome greeting. And we're going to do like that. And then we are going to, pretty good. I just got my Stampin' Positioner. Actually, I got it at the weekend, but didn't really have a chance to use it because I was hosting a single-day retreat on Saturday, all day. And, of course, that was when we were having that abysmal weather. So we actually knocked off a bit early because, yeah, the freezing rain started. But everybody got home safe and sound, no issues. Everybody had a great time. I think people were pretty happy to just be out and about because our city, we're just not equipped for snow, and that was in the forecast. They had already decided to shut the schools on Monday, and we had already canceled church for Sunday. My husband's a pastor, but the roads were supposed to be really treacherous. So even if we didn't get the snow, which was forecasted but didn't really happen, we had a ton of ice, and the roads are just not, like I said, we're just not prepared for that. So we were happy to be together on Saturday, and my weekend and single day retreats. We played bingo. It was fun and lots of fun projects, and always great to see everybody. The community is pretty amazing. Now, this is a set of leaves. Again, label me grateful. I do believe the stamp set has sold out, but the dies are really nice. And this is that paper that is not even on the last chance list, but it came out in the online exclusives maybe in November or maybe in September. And I think it's called Natural Elements. It's kind of between copper and early espresso. I like it a lot. Now, I don't want to put these on there as is because to me that silver with that is going to be a little bit jarring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my dark Old Olive. Actually, I think I'm going to grab, if I can get to it. No. No telling where. Okay. I thought I could find my mossy meadow, but I can't. Okay, so let's go 1 here and 2 and 3. So let's do a couple of these little guys. And let's go 1 and 2. You see how much you get that much more harmonious look because they're not silver, which I think would kind of clash. Now, I think because of the way this is, everything's kind of pulling down here, I am going to add 2 more up near the top. So this was, I kind of guessed on the rhinestones for my packets, and looks like I got just the right amount so that my peeps who are taking this class, their packet is going to totally give them everything they need for their design. So there we have it. 6 quick and easy cards, really just showcasing the new Designer Series paper, all using the lovely new, lovely arrangements, stamp set, and all occasion cards. 2 of these are using Valentine paper, and we didn't do a Valentine project in the lot. So I'd love for you to tell me what your favorite card is. Like I said, there's 6 different ones. So are you a big fan of the rose birthday, the sending smiles, the palm trees, the springy friend, the love bugs, or the elegant leaves, I guess you would call that. I don't know. Anyway, I am going to close out because I've gone a little bit over, but I will be monitoring comments. Would love to hear your take on these projects. I hope that you love them. This is me, Candy at sweetstamper.com. So be sure to visit my blog for all kinds of news and projects, and make sure that you are on my email list. That is it for tonight. I am downloading this to YouTube so that anybody who didn't get to see it here can catch it there, because of course on Facebook now they delete your videos after 30 days. So it will be housed forever on YouTube. Thanks so much for tuning in. Take care and God bless.